بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام والسنة. All praise and thanks belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the Sunnah, for the bounty of Islam and the bounty of the Sunnah. We continue going over in the tremendous book by the Fadilat al-Shaykh al-Allama Imam bin Baz rahimahullah ta'ala, the book which is entitled Durus Muhimma li'amat al-Ummah, the book which is entitled The Important Lessons for Every Muslim, the important lessons for every Muslim. We are reading from the explanation of the Fadilat al-Shaykh Sheikh Abdul Razak bin Sheikh Abdul Muhsin bin Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Badr hafidhahumullah ta'ala. We are still speaking about the importance of learning and understanding the meaning of the Shahada and that which it points to, that this is something that is vital, and an individual, they must believe in it properly, they must properly understand its meaning, they must understand that which it points to, and these things are a must. In fact, an individual will not be able to adequately and properly believe in the Shahada without understanding its meaning, knowing full well its meaning, and understanding that in which it points to. The Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he brings forward a very good example of this, on how we have to know the meaning and we have to accept the meaning, and without accepting it, then it will not benefit us just that we know it. But we have to know it and we have to accept it, and so on and so forth, fulfilling all of the conditions for La ilaha illallah. And bi'ithnillahi ta'ala, in the next coming classes we will get into more depth and more detail as to the conditions of La ilaha illallah. Ala kulli hal, in any event, the Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he mentions, as he says, لَقَدْ كَانَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ, that verily those pagans, those kuffar, الَّذِينَ بُعِثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ, those whom the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was sent and commissioned as a prophet and a messenger in their midst, amongst them. Now, these ones who the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was sent to, from those kuffar of Mecca, from the polytheists of Mecca, يفهمون معنى لا إله إلا الله. They used to know, they used to understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah. They understood it. نعم. ولكنهم استكبروا عن قبولها. But due to their arrogance prevented them from accepting it. نعم. So they knew the meaning. However, their arrogance prevented them from accepting it. So knowing the meaning with and within itself will not benefit an individual. Naam. But an individual has to know the meaning, accept it, naam, so on and so forth, fulfilling all of the conditions of La ilaha illallah in order for it to benefit them. In order for it to benefit them. So it is incumbent that we know and that we understand that yes, we are studying the meaning of La ilaha illallah, not just for knowledge sake, not just for FYI, but so we could accept it and believe in it properly. Naam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He informs us of this fact that the polytheists, they refuse to accept La ilaha illallah due to their arrogance. Allah Ta'ala, He says, إنهم كانوا إذا قيل لهم لا إله إلا الله يستكبرون. And when it was said unto them, meaning who? Meaning the polytheists. When it was said unto them, the polytheists, when it was said unto them, the kuffar, say La ilaha illallah, or when it was said unto them La ilaha illallah, they became arrogant, they became haughty. Naam. Yaqulun, Allah Ta'ala, He informs us about what they used to say. وَيَقُولُونَ أَإِنَّا لَتَارِكُوا آلِهَتِنَا لِشَاعِرٍ مَجْنُونَ. They used to say, are we to leave, are we to abandon our gods due to a mad poet? Referring to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Naam. Wa'iyadu billah. Allah Azza wa Jal, He informs us of the statement of these individuals. So what was it that prevented them from accepting La ilaha illallah? It was due to their arrogance. It was due to their arrogance. So if a person knows the meaning of La ilaha illallah, but their arrogance makes them not accept it, or they know the meaning of La ilaha illallah, but they refuse to accept it, then it will not benefit them. Then it will not benefit them in the least. I want us to take this as an example, because in general, knowledge will not benefit us if we don't apply it. Knowledge, it will not benefit us if we don't apply it. But the only time that the knowledge will benefit us is if we apply the knowledge. So the seeking of knowledge is not just for the acquisition of knowledge, not just for the gathering of knowledge, but rather it is so we may implement the knowledge. Naam. The Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he says, حيث فهموا أنهم تعني ترك الآلهة وبطلان عبادتها من دون الله. And it's a very important point, because this points us to what is pointed to by La ilaha illallah. Now, from that which is necessitated by La ilaha illallah. Because these individuals, and this is for something, yani, before getting into it, this is something that the grave worshippers, they need to open up their ears to. Naam. The Sufiyya, these individuals who are given to grave worship, Naam, wa'iyadu billah, this is something they need to open up their ears to. Naam. These evil individuals who try to find justification, trying to make it seem like praying to the dead, praying to the awliya, this does not infringe upon the statement of La ilaha illallah. This does not go against the statement of La ilaha illallah. It's important for them to know and to understand that the polytheists of the Quraysh understood better than them the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Because why they wouldn't accept La ilaha illallah? Their arrogance made them hold on to what? What did their arrogance make them hold on to? Naam. Allah Ta'ala, He tells us here in the ayah, وَيَقُولُونَ أَإِنَّا لَتَارِكُ آلِهَتِنَا لِشَاعِرٍ مَجْنُونَ. He says, should we leave our gods due to a mad poet? Naam. They understood what La ilaha illallah entailed, meaning أَنَّهُمْ تَعْنِي تَرْكْ آلِهَ وبطلان عبادتها من دون الله. Because they understood by saying La ilaha illallah, or they understood that this kalima of La ilaha illallah, it meant that they had to abandon their false deities, and it showed the erroneousness and the falsehood of their worship of them. Now, it showed the falsehood of the worship of anything outside of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They understood this, that by saying La ilaha illallah, that we cannot make dua to anything else. We only have to make dua to Allah. We can only make dua to Allah, and we are not allowed to make dua to anyone or anything else. They understood that by saying La ilaha illallah, then we cannot seek help in times of peril with anything except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They knew that by saying La ilaha illallah, that all of the categories of worship belong to Allah and Allah alone, and it was not permissible nor allowable to give anything from worship to anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah ta'ala, He tells us this and explains to us this concept in Surah Sad, verse number 5. As Allah ta'ala, He tells us about the statement of the polytheists, when they used to say أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدًا إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ عُجَابٌ. Shall we make, or is He making all of the gods into one God? Verily, this is something that is strange. Meaning that all of the ibadah is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because these were individuals who they used to give ibadah to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the shirk had become well known unto them. So when the tawheed was being taught to them, and they were called to the tawheed, that you are to only worship Allah and Allah alone. You are not to worship anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for them, the worship of only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was something that was strange unto them. Was something that was strange. So they understood that when you say La ilaha illallah, there is no room to call upon any man dead in the grave. There is no room to call upon any man dead in the grave, righteous or otherwise. They knew there was no room to call upon any prophet or any messenger that was dead and gone. They understood that. And there are none from the awliya that are better than the prophets and the messengers. Because the prophets and the messengers, they are the leaders of the awliya. When we say awliya, first and foremost the prophets and the messengers. So if no ibadah can go to any prophet and messenger, rather we say, if no ibadah can go to the best of the prophets and the messengers, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then what about those who are less in status than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Of course, no ibadah can go to them whatsoever. If there's no ibadah that can go to Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, who is the best of the angels, then bila shak wa bila rayb, then no ibadah can go to one who was less than Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, because all of the ibadah belongs to Allah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So we see from this, wa'iyadhu billah, that the polytheists of Mecca understood better the meaning of La ilaha illallah and what was intended by La ilaha illallah than these grave worshippers. Than these grave worshippers from the Sufiyya. Wa'iyadhu billah. The Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he says, in commenting on the ayah from Surah Sad, he says, Ay amrun fi ghayat al-ajab. He said, they were saying that this was something that was the epitome of strange. It was the epitome of strange unto them. This call of Tawheed. It was strange to these polytheists. Naam. The Shaykh, he says, ثُمَّ أَخَذُوا يَتَوَاصَوْنَ بَيْنَهُمْ عَلَى عِبَادَةِ الْآلِهَةِ. He said, and then the polytheists, they took to encouraging one another to stick to the worship of their false deities. They encouraged one another to stick to the worship of their false deities. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَانْطَلَقَ الْمَلَأُ مِنْهُمْ أَنْ امْشُوا وَاصْبِرُوا عَلَى آلِهَتِكُمْ. And they were from them, the leaders of the polytheists, They went amongst them. They walked amongst them. They went amongst their people, saying, and be patient upon the worship of your deities. Be patient upon the worship of your deities. إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ يُرَادٌ, because this is that which is required of you. This is that which you are sought to do. Naam. This is in Surah Sad, verse number 6. Allah Ta'ala informing us that not only did they say that this was something that was strange, not only did they see that Tawheed as being something strange, but then they encouraged their people to stay upon the shirk. They encouraged their people to stay upon the polytheism. And you find, وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, likewise you find the polytheists in this day, those who are the enemies to Tawheed, those who fight against and they war against the Tawheed, those who don't like that Tawheed it be taught, then you find these same individuals, they tell the people, be patient upon what you're upon. Be patient upon the worship of other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. لِأَنَّ because they are them. Meaning the polytheists from before are like the polytheists of this day. You don't find them intrinsically changing their characteristics, but they are who they are. They are the same way still. The Shaykh Rahimahullah Ta'ala, he says, وَيُحَدِّثُ بَعْضُهُمْ بَعْضًا مغتبطين نعم مغتبطين بها وبهذا الصبر. And some of them, they will talk to others from amongst them, being happy and joyful and rejoicing, with this patience, patience upon their shirk, وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. وقال Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Furqan, Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Al-Furqan, verse 42, Allah Ta'ala, He says, إن كاد ليضلنا عن آلهتنا لولا أن صبرنا عليها. This is what the kuffar used to say. They used to say, وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, and he, meaning Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he almost led us away from our gods. We almost believed in him. He almost convinced us. He almost led us away from our gods. Had it not been that we were patient. Had it not been that we were patient, meaning he would have almost gotten us to go away from the worship of our false deities, had we not been patient upon their worship. The Shaykh, he says, لولا أننا تحلينا بالصبر, meaning that if we had not adorned ourselves with patience, وإلا كاد أن يضلنا عن هذه الآلهة وعن عبادتها. He said that, meaning that the kuffar used to say that had it not been for the fact that we adorned ourselves with patience, then verily he would have almost gotten us to abandon our false deities and to abandon their worship. All of this is because what? Is because they understood. They understood, fahimu. They understood, وَعَرَفُوا مَعْنَى لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا. They understood and they knew the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Naam. فَهُمْ عَرَفُوا مَعْنَى لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا. So they understood the meaning of La ilaha illallah. وَأَنَّهَا تَعْنِي, and that verily La ilaha illallah, it means and it entails إخلاص العبادة لله تبارك وتعالى, that it meant that singling out and making all of the worship purely for Allah تبارك وتعالى. والكفر بكل معبود سواه, and to disbelieve in everything that is worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam. Ya ibadallah, this is something that is of tremendous importance. It's of tremendous importance that we learn this. It's of tremendous importance that we know this. Naam. As we have a resurgence, or we have a push, we should say, of newly found enthusiasm from the worshippers of the graves. So much so that they have erected a university in Yemen. And inside of this university, they have students that come from all over, international students. And they try to fashion it like the Islamic University of Al-Medina. And in this university, what is their prime objective? It is to refute the da'wah of At-Tawheed. So they study the books of At-Tawheed by the ulama of Ahlul Sunnah, not to understand them and benefit from them, but to try to construct an answer to them. Na'am? So that when you come with the ayah about the Tawheed, they try to change it so that it's led to understand that what they're doing from the great worship doesn't contradict it. So they're being taught how to twist and to misconstrue things so as to spread their doubts. And this university has not come up just so that the students in the university will be upon this way and know this way. No, it has come up so that these individuals can learn this corruption, can learn this filth, so they can go out to the world and spread it. So lessons like this become what? Of vital importance. Of vital importance. Because as these evil individuals start graduating from this corrupt institution, they're going to spread throughout the lands, calling people to this nonsense, calling people to the worship of the graves and the worship of Juyaanee, the awliya. So it is incumbent, it is a must that not only do we learn good ourselves, but that we make sure that our children are learning good. So when these doubts come to them, they know, no way. Because at the end of the day, if you don't walk away from this particular thing with anything else, you will understand what? That even the Quraysh, even the polytheists from the mushrikun of the Arab, even they knew that by saying La ilaha illallah, it leaves no room to worship anything or anyone else. They knew this. It leaves no room to worship anything or anyone else. Only worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the only option you have when you say La ilaha illallah. Even they knew that. So knowing that even the polytheists have a better understanding than these individuals will be an encouragement for you to know, don't even pay them no mind. Because how you were an individual that subhanallah, even Abu Jahl was more knowledgeable about La ilaha illallah than you. So if Abu Jahl, the father of ignorance, was more knowledgeable about La ilaha illallah than these individuals, then of course we give what they say no credence. We pay no mind, no attention. So if you don't walk away with anything except for that, then know that what? That even the polytheists of the Arab understood the meaning of La ilaha illallah better than the grave worshippers. Therefore, makes sense. The Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he says that you have to disbelieve in the worship of that which is worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And everything that is worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to have for it kufr. We have to have disbelief for it. And we don't believe that those things should be worshipped. وَأَنَّ كُلَّ مَعْبُودٍ سِوَى اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى عِبَادَتُهُ بَاطِلَةٌ. And that the worship of everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the worship of these things is false. It's erroneous. It's incorrect. It's not true. وَيَجِبُ أَن يَكْفُرَ بِهِ. And it is a must that we disbelieve in it. Now, this is very important as well. It's very important as well. And those individuals who are given to interfaith dialogue, those individuals, be they from the followers of Wafdi Muhammad or whatever, those individuals who think that the Jews and the Christians are believers and things of this nature, it's important for them to understand that it not only do we ourselves see and understand and believe, because we know the reality is that the worship of other than Allah is false and it is erroneous, but it is a must that we disbelieve in it. We can't accept it. We can't say, oh no, I'm not going to worship, Paul and Matthew and Mary and Jesus and that. I'm not going to worship it, but it's okay. You do what you do. Live and let live. No, I'm not going to worship it, and you shouldn't worship it. I'm not going to worship it, and your worship of it is incorrect. Not that we accept it from them. Your worship of it is incorrect. We call you to worship God and God alone. That's it. We call you, do not give anything from worship to Maryam. Do not give anything from worship to Isa. Do not give anything from worship to anything except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We call them to La ilaha illallah. That's what's acceptable. Nothing else is acceptable. Only La ilaha illallah. It is a must that we disbelieve in the worship of others than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to disbelieve in the worship of other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala says, فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ, whoever disbelieves in the false deities. We have to disbelieve in the false deities. We have to disbelieve in the legitimacy of the worship of anything and everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is not legitimate in any which way, shape and form. It's not acceptable in any which way, shape and form. We're not going to turn a blind eye to it in any which way, shape and form under any circumstance where we turn a blind eye to it and deem it as something that is acceptable and is okay for anyone. No, it's wrong for everyone, period. It's wrong for everyone, period. You understand? Because listen, shirk is the worst crime. Shirk is the worst sin. Shirk is the thing that is most dangerous to a person. The most dangerous thing to a person is shirk. When we look at things that are dangerous for people, we don't accept it for ourselves and we don't accept it for others. Let me give you an example. When it comes to crack, we won't smoke crack and we don't justify anybody smoking crack. We say, I ain't smoking crack and you shouldn't smoke crack. Why? Crack is harmful. Crack can have you doing this. Crack can have you stealing from your mother, your grandmother. Crack can have you doing all kind of crazy stuff. You understand? It destroy your body, destroy your mind, destroy everything. Crack destroy your life. You understand? So we tell people, crack is not acceptable. I'm not going to smoke crack. You better not smoke crack neither. You understand? Shirk is worse than crack. Shirk is worse than crack. Why? Because for the shirk, a person go to hell forever. That's worse than crack. The bad repercussions from shirk is worse than the bad repercussions of crack. You understand what's crack? Okay, you lose your teeth, you look disheveled, you start stealing from everybody, you lose all this weight, you look crazy, whatever, you get sick, whatever the case may be, from crack. You might do some crime, go to jail, whatever. The worst can happen from crack, you die. The worst happen from crack, you die. You OD, you die. Okay. Huh? Shirk. The penalty for shirk is worse than death. Because we're going to die anyway. You understand? We're going to die anyway. From this, from that, we're going to die anyway. But shirk, a person goes to hell forever. Shirk, a person is not forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah does not forgive shirk. So, the harms of shirk is worse than the harms of crack. So how in the world can we tell a crackhead that I'm not going to smoke crack and it's not acceptable that you smoke crack, but yet we'll tell a mushrik, I'm not going to make shirk, but it's okay for you to do what you want to do. It doesn't make sense. Shirk is worse than crack. So we have to have the same understanding for those who truly understand. So for those who understand the lights of Tawheed, and there are many things that show the erroneous nature of interfaith dialogue, right? That show the erroneous nature of this belief that the Jews and the Christians upon their shirk are believers. There are many things which show that that's wrong. But from the things which show that that's wrong is this concept here. How in the world could you watch a person doing the worst thing that a human being can do and you're quiet about it? You watch him do the worst thing a human being could do and you're smiling with him, telling him that we're brothers in the Abrahamic faith. How are you going to see him do the worst thing a human being could do and you don't say nothing? You make it seem like you good too. That's the worst thing. That's like sitting a crackhead down. You understand what I'm saying? If a person sat a crackhead down and he tried to justify to him why it's okay for him to live that lifestyle and smoke crack, he encouraged him like you can keep smoking crack. It's okay. Anybody who looked at that will think that is the craziest thing they ever saw in their life. How in the world are you going to try to convince a crackhead that it's okay to smoke crack? How are you going to appease a crackhead that it's okay to be upon that lifestyle and smoke crack? Why would you do that? I mean, you're an evil person. You're a horrible individual. How are you going to tell a crackhead that? You should be trying to help him get cleaned up and get off of the crack. You understand? So if that's the case with a crackhead, then what about a mushrik what he doing is worse than what the crackhead doing? You understand? And if we can't look at it and see it for what it is, as being something that's even more crazy than trying to convince a crackhead it's okay for him to smoke crack, there's something wrong with our understanding of Tawheed. Something is deficient with us, that we don't see it like that. Something's wrong with us, that we don't see that this is a crime against humanity, making people think it's okay to be a mushrik. That's a crime against humanity, worse than people with crack and killing, dropping bomb on people. That's worse than all of that. And all that is bad and not acceptable. So bila shakku bila raib, even more so, shirk is not acceptable. The fact that shirk will spread to the people is not acceptable. As Muslims, we want to spread Tawheed across the world. Across the world. So with that being the case, and see, now here comes the test, right? Because everyone's going to say, no, that's the case. We don't want this, we don't want that. Okay, where's our efforts? Where's our efforts? You see the Catholic Church, they want to spread Catholicism all over. Did they waste any effort spreading that foolishness to all parts of Africa, all parts of Latin America? Did they waste any effort? All the way from Rome? Huh? You got people who are indigenous to the Americas, Catholic? You serious? You think that came because they were just sitting around on their hands? They exerted effort. They exerted effort. So us, we upon the truth. Where's our effort? Where's our effort? Where's our effort? It's just in our local communities. Where's our effort? To spread Tawheed. To educate the people about the Tawheed. Where's our effort? Alhamdulillah, this is Allah's deen. Alhamdulillah, this is Allah's deen. Shaykh. Because even with that, even with our miserable state, even with our laziness and our neglect, Islam is still the fastest growing deen in the world. Fastest growing religion in the world. All praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we know we ain't doing nothing. We know that. Our effort is pathetic. Still the fastest growing deen in the world. Why? Because it's Allah's deen. Allah going to take care of His deen. And that's the reality. But as believers, we should be striving our best to gain as much good deeds as we could in this world. And from the greatest ways to gain some really good deeds is to what? Call the people to Tawheed. Call the people to Tawheed. The Prophet ﷺ said that whoever, if a person accepts Islam, because of your efforts, you call him to Islam, is better than a red camel. The red camel is like the best of the riding thing at that time. So could you imagine whatever the best riding thing right now, one person accepts Islam due to your da'wah, because you gave him da'wah, Allah Ta'ala guides someone by way of you, huh? That's better than the best vehicle or whatever, that's here. Do we understand that? Do we understand that whoever points to a good, then he gets the reward of the person who does that good, and no one's reward is reduced in the least, as the Prophet ﷺ told us in authentic hadith, meaning what? You call a person to something that is good, and then that person, they continue and they do that good, you get rewarded too. And then if they teach somebody, you get rewarded for the person who they taught, and they doing it. You see the circle, see the chain, it go, we keep getting all the reward. Now you call a person to Al-Islam, you pointed him to good, the ultimate good thing. So now for the rest of his life, he doing what he doing as a Muslim, you sharing that reward. Could you beat that? Could you beat that? That's it. That's one of the greatest deeds. So we should be really striving to call the people to Islam, especially my Latin brothers. Yeah, we're gonna pick on y'all now, right? Because we in a state where there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people. Right? And there's a lot of them, and it seems like, and Allahu A'lam, I'm just telling you from what I be seeing, it seems like they want to know about Islam. Huh? I had some individuals, two men. They were inside of the supermarket, and they were smiling at me, giving thumbs up and things of this nature. But it was a language barrier. There's a language barrier. I couldn't communicate with them. They couldn't communicate with me. But they were showing me signs that we approve. And they're pointing to where I was dressed and, giving thumbs up. And so the jalabiya and the kufi and the like. And they're giving thumbs up and smiling. Acting, and you could tell from the body language like they wanted to talk, but we didn't understand each other. So there's a lot of opportunity for da'wah. A lot of opportunity for da'wah. Now, there's an explosion right now inside of Latin America of people accepting Islam. It's an explosion right now. You understand? We in a state that we have a lot of access to individuals from various parts of Latin America. So we have to step up. Yani the da'wah in a language that they understand. We have to step it up. So for the brothers who speak Spanish, even more so now, learning this stuff yani is beneficial. It's a must for you, but it's as a must that you learn it well so you can convey it to others. So that you can convey it to others in the Spanish language. Now, it's very important. It's very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى. Naam. Pop quiz. Here we go. This ayah is found where? Those who got the book is like an open book test, so the reference should be there, but you should know it. This ayah is where? Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 256. Naam. What ayah is before that? Ayatul Kursi. So you should know the ayah after Ayatul Kursi, so we don't forget, right? This ayah, whoever disbelieves in the Taghut, whoever disbelieves in a false deity, and they believe in Allah, what is this a proof of? It's a proof of what? Well, yeah, the Qur'an is Kitab and Tawheed, but it's specifically a proof of something. What is it a proof of? Well, look at the verse. Let's look at it. What the translator means. Whoever disbelieves in the false deity, and they believe in Allah. Right? Those of you in Mixler world, feel free. You can jump in, answer as well. Type it right in the box. Let me see who got the answer. What is it? What is it a proof of? What is this verse a proof of? That the worship of anything outside of Allah is false. Nah. We can see that from this. Nah. What else? More specific. We have to reject shirk. Nah. Have to reject shirk. That's true. More specifically though, it's a proof of what? That Allah is the only one worthy of worship. That Allah is the only one worthy of worship. We're getting close. And what is that? The Shahada of La ilaha illallah. But I'm looking for something more specific. You're in the right ballpark, but I want a specific wording. A specific wording. Well, there's a group of wordings that are specific, right? But in truth, except for Allah. But what is that? Nothing has the right to be worshipped in truth except for Allah. What is that? Huh? Nah, but more specifically, what is it? Right, refutation of shirk, but what is it though? Nothing has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. What is that? The answer is like right in front of your face. It's an obvious answer. The declaration of faith, which is what? Tawheed, Shahada, but what is it? It's a proof of what then? Nah, but go back. Nothing has the right to worship in truth except Allah. I'm going to give you a hint. What is that a translation of? It's a translation of La ilaha illallah, correct? Right. So this here is a proof of what? Of La ilaha illallah. But more specifically a proof to what? As one of the sisters is Allah khairah. Na'am. She explained, she answered in the box. The proof of La ilaha illallah. But the proof of what? I still want something more specific even than that. The proof of what about La ilaha illallah? The proof of the blank of La ilaha illallah. Come on, y'all gave you the answer almost. It is the proof of the blank of La ilaha illallah. Nope. I mean, importance, yes, but that's not what I'm looking for. It's not the word I'm looking for. Of what? Of what? Because when you say La ilaha illallah, right? Let's do it like this. If a person who didn't know about the Tawheed, who didn't know about Arabic, they know nothing about Islam. Let's go back. They know nothing about Islam. They came in here right now and you said, La ilaha illallah. What is the obvious question they're going to ask you? What does that mean? You see that? What does that mean, right? So when they ask you what does it mean, what are you going to tell them? That nothing has the right to worship except for Allah. So that in English, that concept, that articulation is what? Is the meaning of La ilaha illallah. I told you it's very simple. Right? So this ayah is a proof of the meaning of La ilaha illallah. You with me? It's very important to know. Now, let's break it down so we can see even better. Because in La ilaha illallah we have two parts to it. Two parts. Anybody remember what the parts are? Affirmation and negation. But in the kalima of La ilaha illallah, what's the order they come in? Huh? Negation and affirmation. Alright, now negation, affirmation. Two parts. Two pillars. Two pillars of La ilaha illallah are negation, affirmation. Correct? Now we said this verse here is a proof to the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Now, so that means that this verse will have to contain those two pillars. Correct? Alright, show me. What are the two pillars here in this verse?
The negation is whoever disbelieves in at-Taghut.
Nah, the negation is what? Whoever disbelieves in the at-Taghut. And what is the affirmation? And they believe in Allah. Nah, so what's the negation? Disbelief in Taghut. That's the negation. What's the affirmation? They believe in Allah. Naam. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ. Whoever disbelieves in the Taghut. That's what? That's the negation. In La ilaha illallah, where's the negation? La ilaha. Ahsant. But where's the affirmation inside of the verse? Huh? No, in the verse.
In this verse?
Yeah, in this verse. And they believe in Allah. وَيُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ. But where's the affirmation in the kalima of Tawheed? Illallah. طيب. Allah Ta'ala, He says that whoever comes with this negation and this affirmation, فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى, then they would have taken hold on to the most trustworthy handhold. What is the most trustworthy handhold? What is the most trustworthy handhold? Mind you now, this ayah is a proof. This ayah is a proof to La ilaha illallah. So what's the most trustworthy handhold? People in Mixla, where you at?
The most trustworthy handhold is believe in the oneness of Allah.
Yeah, but more specifically? Huh?
The most trustworthy handhold is Allah.
I heard it, but you got to say it with confidence. No guessing. Huh? The shahada, which part? La ilaha illallah. So what's the most trustworthy handhold is what? Is? No. You had it. That's what happened when you're not sure. You're like, I don't know. No, you gotta know. So the most trustworthy handhold is what? No, what's the most trustworthy handhold? What is it? Is the shahada. What part of the shahada? La ilaha illallah. So what's the most trustworthy handhold? La ilaha illallah. Naam. You see? So the most trustworthy handhold is, the ulama tafsir explain what it means is what? Is La ilaha illallah. The Shaykh, he goes on to say, and say alhamdulillah, he didn't read on. Because if you go on, you read, what's the next verse? I mean, what's the first sentence after the verse is what? What does it say in the English there? What does it say? No, what is it? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Nothing has the right to be worshipped except for Allah.
This means the grasp onto
the grasp onto the statement.
of
You have the right to be worshipped.
except for Allah. Okay, that's the most trustworthy handhold is what? Is La ilaha illallah. So let's go over this verse again. This verse is very important. This verse, first and foremost, where is it found? Surah Baqarah. You know, Surah Baqarah is like really big. Where in Surah Baqarah?
Ayah 256.
256. That's the ayah after what ayah? Ayah to Qur'an. This ayah here is a proof of what? No, it's a proof of what? The meaning of La ilaha illallah. Tayyib. And in this ayah, so that we see that it matches Juyaanee perfectly. The meaning is that what? It comprises of a negation and affirmation. The negation is where? Huh? Whoever disbelieves in Taghut. Naam. And the affirmation is where? Whoever believes in Allah. Tayyib. And the kalima of La ilaha illallah, where's the negation? La ilaha. Where's the affirmation? Illallah. Naam. And then whoever brings this negation and affirmation, because they disbelieve in the false deities and they believe in Allah, then they will have taken hold onto the most trustworthy handhold, which is what? The statement of La ilaha illallah. Naam. People online. Now we're going to ask you the same series of questions. Don't nobody here answer. We're going to ask you the same series of questions. This ayah here that's in Surah Al-Baqarah, what number is it? Is ayah number what? 256. Naam. And it's a statement of what? It's a proof for what? What is it a proof for? The meaning of La ilaha illallah. Naam. In this ayah, it comes after which verse? Ayah to Qur'an. Naam. And what surah is in? You didn't think I was going to give you the exact same test, did you? Naam. Baqarah. Ahsantum. Naam. Ahsantum. Tayyib. This verse contains it contains the pillars of La ilaha illallah. What are the pillars, or how many pillars are there? Firstly, how many pillars are there of La ilaha illallah? How many pillars? 2. And they are affirmation and negation. But inside of the verse, where is the affirmation? It's not the same test. Where's the affirmation? Is where? Disbelieve in the false deities. Okay. Disbelieve in the false deities and believe in Allah. No, I said, what is the affirmation? Which part of the verse is the affirmation? I only want the affirmation. Which part is affirmation? No, in the verse. I want the affirmation in the verse. Believing in Allah. Ahsant. But what's the negation in the verse? In the verse. Disbelieving in all the false deities. Naam. Disbelieving in the false deities. Naam. That's the negation in the verse. Okay. What's the negation in the kalima of Tawheed? Where's the negation there? Naam, la ilaha. Naam, ahsant. طيب. So what's the affirmation and the kalima of it tawheed? Illallah. Naam. Naam. Ahsantum. Ahsant. طيب. Final question. The most trustworthy handhold. The most trustworthy handhold. What is that? What is the most trustworthy handhold? Alhamdulillah. Naam. La ilaha illallah. Naam. The first part of the shahada. That is the most trustworthy handhold. Naam. Excellent. Excellent. Naam. So the Shaykh, he says, after mentioning the verse, Naam, istamsaka bi la ilaha illallah, that they hold on to la ilaha illallah, bi khilaf al mushrikeen. And this is in contrary to the polytheist. Fi zaman al mutaakhir. Naam. Contrary to the polytheist in the later times. Of course, the polytheists then, there was a contrary to them as well. Naam. But the Shaykh, he want to highlight, he said what? He said, in the later times, this is contrary to what the polytheists they are upon right now. إِذَا لَمْ يَسْتَكْبِرُوا عَنْ قُبُولِهَا نُطْقًا. He said, it's contradictory to the polytheists in the later times, who they are not arrogant when it comes to saying it. They're not arrogant when it comes to saying it. Meaning that what? They say it. They say La ilaha illallah. See, in the first times, the mushrikun, they wouldn't even say La ilaha illallah. Now, in the later times we living in right now, they say La ilaha illallah. They'll say it. They're not arrogant too much to say it. They'll say it. The Shaykh says, بَلْ يُرَدِّدُونَهَا مَرَّاتٍ كَثِيرَاتٍ. نعم أو مرات وكرات, that they say it repeatedly, a lot. Not just they say La ilaha illallah, but they say it a lot. They repeat it often. وَلَكِنَّهُمْ نَقَضُوهَا بِمَقَالِهِمْ وَفِعَالِهِمْ. But they negate La ilaha illallah with their statements and their actions. They say La ilaha illallah a lot, and they repeat it often, but they negate it with their statements and with their actions. How? Du'a'an lil-maqbureen. Because they make dua to those who are dead in the grave. Because they supplicate to those who are dead in the grave. So this what? This negates their statement of La ilaha illallah, and them saying it a lot doesn't help them. Because why? Because they're making dua to those dead in the grave, out istighathatan bihim, or because they seeking help in times of peril with those who are dead in the grave, out intija'an ilayhim fi tafrij al-kurubat wal qada'i al-hajat, because they turn to those who are dead in the grave to relieve their calamities and to fulfill their needs. To relieve the calamity and to fulfill the needs. Now, the one dead in the grave, he can't do anything for you. Anything. You understand? Can't do anything for you. So by them turning to these ones and asking them to relieve their calamities and to give them what they need, this is negating their statement of La ilaha illallah. مَعَ ذَبْحٍ لَهُمْ. And this is coupled with them slaughtering in the name of these things. These ones dead in the grave, they slaughter in their names. وَنَذْرٍ وَغَيْرِ ذَلِكَ. And they take oaths in the names of those who are dead in the grave, and other than that. فَأَيُّ شَيْءٍ يَنْفَعُهُمْ ذَلِكَ النُّطْقِ. So with them doing all of that, with what are they benefited by saying La ilaha illallah? It doesn't benefit them any which way, shape, and form. The Shaykh, he says, Al-Hasil, he said thus, in conclusion, أن لا إله إلا الله إنما تنفع قائلها إذا حقق ما دلت عليه. He said that in conclusion, the takeaway is that what? Is that whoever they say La ilaha illallah, it will only benefit them if they actualize that which it points to. كما قال الشيخ رحمه الله تعالى, just like the Sheikh bin Baz رحمه الله تعالى, he said نافيا جميع ما يعبد من دون الله, negating everything that is worshipped other than Allah, illallah, except for Allah, muthbitan al-ibadah wahdahu la sharika lah. And the statement of illallah, except for Allah, then this affirms the worship for Allah alone without any partners. فَلَا يَدْعُوا illallah, meaning the one who says this does not supplicate to anything except Allah. وَلَا يَسْتَغِيثُوا إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ, and nor do they seek help in times of peril except with Allah. وَلَا يَتَوَكَّلُوا إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ, and they do not put their trust and dependence upon anything except Allah. وَلَا يَذْبَحُوا إِلَّا لِلَّهِ, and they do not slaughter and sacrifice except for Allah and in the name of Allah. وَلَا يَنْظُرُوا إِلَّا لِلَّهِ, and they do not take an oath except for Allah and in Allah's name. وَلَا يَصْرِفُوا شَيْئًا مِنَ الْعِبَادَةِ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى وَحْدَهُ, and they do not give anything from worship to anything except Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala alone. They don't give anything from worship except to Allah. Blessed and lofty is He. They give it to Him and Him alone. These are the only ones that are going to benefit from La ilaha illallah. And then the Shaykh Rahimahullah Ta'ala, he goes on to quote the next section, the next portion, which is Shaykh bin Baz Rahmatullah Alayh going into the pillars of La ilaha illallah. The condition, what I say? Naam, ahsan, jazakallah khair. Inshallah ta'ala, the Shaykh gets into the conditions for La ilaha illallah. He gets into the conditions for La ilaha illallah. But inshallah ta'ala, we'll say that for the next class. فلعلنا نقف هنا فنكتفي بهذا القدر. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.